And we are live here. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter all at once. So what's up, guys? Nick from P2W Fantasy here with one of my OG friends, Kevin, one of my best friends in the space. What we got going on today is we are having an open mic session, pretty much having people come on and plug themselves, let everybody know who they are, where to find them, what they're working on. Kevin and I did this on Clubhouse, and I thought – and I'll let Kevin speak on it, but I thought it was a great experience. And the people that actually did it, I feel like they felt like they had a chance to speak on themselves in a platform. And I think that's awesome in the space. So Kevin, shot me a DM. He's like, hey, let's do this again when you have the time. And I'm home from work getting stuff ready for a birthday party. So I'm like, hey, an hour with Kevin, have some people come on. This should be a good time. So before we get into anything, Kevin, what's up? What's been going on, man?
Yeah, man. No, I'm just glad to do this. I think one of the things that I try to do in the space is just, put other people forward. And I think in so many people out there and content, like things can get lost. And there's a lot of things that like people are like, oh, I didn't know you did that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's surprising because I have it out there a lot. So I definitely just want to make sure other people get acknowledged for the work they're doing. And there's a lot, we have our list today, and there's a lot of great people on this list of things they do really well. And I think sometimes, social media is between the follow trains and just everything, content out there. Like you sometimes miss good people that you should follow. And I think that's the whole point of this. And anytime I just get on and talk some shit with you guys, I'm happy for it.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm the same with you. I feel like that's why we connect too. And we connected early is because I feel like both of us have our own specific hustle. We make content, we put our stuff out there, but I think we're both fully capable of supporting others at the same time and linking up and collaborating. You and I have probably been on shows with like 100 different people combined or hundreds of people combined because we're always looking to collaborate. And I think that's a good part about this space because people look at it and say, oh, it's so crowded. There's so many content creators out there. But at the same time, I think the more you link up with people, the better it is and the better you can promote yourself at the same time. So I'm looking forward to this. And we actually have our first guest ready to go. Let's get him in the chat here. I'm gonna be messing with the templates just to make stuff look cool. Not plugging like fantasy points or anything today for this.
Get that plug in. It's all right. That's why we're here.
There we go. So first, sorry, I've been like battling something here. First guy we got on the show here, we got Austin at Debbie Dietz. So Austin, thanks for joining us, man. Can you let us know a couple different things here, where we can find you, obviously on social media, if it's more than Twitter? Little bit about yourself, what you got going on. It's an open stage for you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think this is a really cool thing. Glad you guys are doing it. And nice to meet you, Nick, because I don't think we've ever really interacted too much before. I talk to Kevin all the time.
Yeah, just on Twitter, little things here. So
yeah,
it's nice to be in person.
You talk to me a little too much. I know.
A little too much. Oh, Kevin, nice shirt. We did not call each other before we.
This is cute.
Here.
Look at this.
I swear we didn't call each other. So my name's Austin at Debbie Dietz, like Nick said. Not really here to talk so much about myself, just kind of talk about the Campus to Canton crew and the site we have and everything we have going on over there. For those of you guys, I guess, not super familiar, so just a brief overview. Campus to Canton, it's kind of a newer league format. It's only been around a couple years. It's essentially deep Devy mixed with your regular dynasty league where you have in a regular Devy league, you draft guys that are in college, you get them when they eventually make it to the NFL. And at Campus to Canton, you have a full college roster. And instead of those guys just sitting there looking pretty, waiting for them, you get points from them every week. You have a college roster for fantasy. And then when those guys graduate, they bump up to your NFL team. So that's kind of what we cover, along with deep Devy, some dynasty stuff, all that kind of good stuff. So we're just, we created the site in March because there's really not much information out there. So we have ADP data. We have Mr. Genius Jarek Backus, who has some data tools and things like that. Rankings. We have a Discord. So all sorts of good stuff. So just wanted to hop on today. Say if you're ever heard of the format, you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Check out the podcast, anything like that. And we have some cool stuff actually coming up here, which I can't necessarily announce yet, but a couple partnerships here that we'll be announcing shortly, and a very smart person or two that I think we're trying to bring on before the season starts. So that's all I've got for today. Just thanks for having me on, and enjoy the rest of your day here, guys. Enjoy the holiday weekend.
Well, before you leave, what is your thoughts on Malik Willis? No, I'm just kidding. No, but for,
When-
but for real,
I'm gonna eat into the next person's time if we do that. So.
but for real, I'm a member of Austin's website and Discord, and if you're into Devi and Campus of Can, it's a legitimate resource. It's really good. I can't be as active as I wish I could because I'm in so many group chats. I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. But it is definitely a good resource for you guys. It's a great website, and I know that you guys have been working your ass off with all the different analytical profiles. The website itself is getting updates. So if you can, and Austin's one of the good guys in the space, even though he doesn't like any of the prospects I like, he definitely deserves a little bit of plug.
Absolutely. And what I like is you guys offer something very different than the average fantasy content creator. And I think people should be encouraged to try and dive into some new things sometimes. You know, there's been a time personally when I've never played a Superflex league, and now I love Superflex leagues. There was a time I never did IDP, and now I love IDP. I mean, there's just different avenues and different routes of fantasy that we don't even look into sometimes. So I definitely think what you guys got going on is massive because it's different. And I think having something different to look into draws even more interest in this big world of fantasy football and football in general.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I like the format because everything matters. You know, the Central Michigan game on Wednesday night matters. The Ravens Steelers Monday night game matters. So I love all of it. But yeah, again, thanks for having me on, guys. And I'll be tuning in the rest of the show here. So have fun.
Sounds good. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it, man. All right, so the template gets all funky here. That's all good. Next guest is a guy that Kevin and I talk to pretty often. Great person. What I like about what him and his significant other do is they are a true power couple. They have a podcast, and a lot of their personality comes out in it, and they talk about some great stuff. So let's let Rob get into the room here. What's up, Rob?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing, man? It's nice to be in person with you because I know me and you talk often all the time. So great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This is a great idea.
So, Rob, very different podcast, and I love the concept of what you guys got going on. Can you tell everybody, of course, where to find you on any social media, and then who you are, what you got going on?
Yeah, so, I've been talking to you guys for a while, and you're actually getting me over my traumatic experience with fantasy football, from years ago. Okay. I haven't done fantasy since maybe 2007, 2008, where I was the highest scoring team in the league and came in second to last. And at that point, I'm like, I'm done. I just gave up at that time. And I was like, I took a back seat. But I love sports. So on our show, we don't really talk a lot of fantasy. We talk about current events. We love college football a lot. We talk NFL. And we kind of talk about the stories and how they relate kind of in the world. Today we have an episode coming out, and we're talking about this name, image, likeness. So it's big here in Florida. It's going, you see all the players doing it. And we did this whole episode on it and talk about some of the people that will be the highest earners. And do you guys want to take any stab at it? Like, who you think will be the highest earner? What type of sport?
Kevin's got a good guess.
I would probably say football because it's the most prevalent sport. But you're probably going to throw like wrestling at me right now, and I'm going to look like an idiot.
It's really crazy. So we go in depth on it on the podcast today, but there are these two twin female basketball players out of Fresno State.
Oh, from Fresno State. Yes. Yeah.
And they are signed a deal with Boost Mobile.
Yes.
And they think they're going to make over $500,000 this year.
Yeah.
But there is a girl out of LSU that they think is going to be the highest paid. They think she's actually going to be the first college millionaire sports athlete. And she's a gymnast out of LSU. She has like 4 million TikTok followers, like over 1 million Instagram followers. And she's getting all these endorsement deals. And they're like, those are the people that are really, really going to benefit from this. These like social influencers.
Rob, as probably the only person in this space that has Fresno State women's basketball tickets, I definitely should have known that because I have season tickets to their games. But that team is legit too. Like they can play. And so that's a good call. I never even thought about the social media aspect of those things because they've been doing it for a long time to get their platform up. But yeah, no, that's it. See, that's what I like about your show, because it's different than like, hey, Nick, what's my top 5 quarterbacks? Like, it's different. Like, we have different kind of perspectives and different way to look at it.
Yeah,
Kevin just made fun of me right there for a second, I think.
and we jump into NFL, of course. We talk a lot about the
Yeah.
Bucks and the Jags and the Dolphins because we're in Florida. We talk about college football. It's a big kind of, we fight a lot on our podcast in a way, but in a playful way, because Christy's a big Gator fan and I went to UCF. So it's that Power 5 versus Group of 5 that we're arguing back and forth against. And I'll just say she always goes to the UCF games. So I think I win, but you know.
No, I think that's fair. I like it. I like that you're just different. That's what I love about you. I've met you for the last year, that it's just a different type of content. And that's what we kind of struggle with in this space sometimes, is like we are hearing the same content. And you should definitely check out his podcast. I follow him on Instagram as well. You have an Instagram, Rob, and I love that page too.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks.
Yeah, that's
guys.
awesome. That's awesome. And again, just piggybacking off what Kevin said, I think all of us, or not all of us, but a lot of us don't just follow football or don't just follow basketball. So it's nice to have a diverse, set of topics week to week. And I think your guys' personalities are true to what they actually are. So it makes it a good podcast. So Rob, really appreciate you coming on the podcast here, man.
Appreciate it, guys. And you could find us at Sports Bliss with Rob and Chris. That's our website. And Chris is with a K. So, and from there, we're on like every platform as everybody is for podcasts. So thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Talk to you later,
man.
Rob. All right. And again, we get jumbled here. All right. So next guy on the podcast, great friend of mine, Kevin. I know you're a big fan of this guy as well. I'm pretty sure we were both on his series that he has going on right now, which is awesome. That series is awesome because it's taking different people from the community talking about different teams, and it was a great idea. But talk about a great guy just in general, great dude, a guy that I would love to kick it with on a weekend. Let's bring in John June. John, what's up, man?
What's going on, fellas? How's it going?
Hanging out with Kevin. So it's okay. It's okay. But.
I was good. I was good until you dropped that Dallas Cowboys going to be on, the show that I don't even want to talk about right now because it's just awful. It never works out for us.
Why? Is it going to be a hard knock season for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, we're here to talk about you, John. So let's pivot. Let's tell us what you got going on, because I can't talk about the Cowboys anymore.
Nah, man. First of all, definitely appreciate y'all having me, man. This was a great idea. Must have been Kevin's because he's a smart one. I'm just messing.
You're not. I wish I can say something about that, but it was Kevin's idea. You're right.
Nah, man. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. But again, John June, JR Football Nerd, because I almost think about changing it because everyone goes to Junior Football Nerd, which obviously makes sense in my mind. It was just like, oh, everyone will read that as JR. But no, JR Football Nerd, creator of Fantasy Football Diagnostics podcast. Right now, we're one show a week. Like you said, Nick, we're doing the divisional series, which, again, both of y'all were kind enough to come on. Y'all were both great. Nick, your episode comes out tomorrow, so definitely going to be plugging that one. But that's been a phenomenal experience for me because like I tweeted out the other day, just having the opportunity to sit down with multiple people throughout the community. I mean, obviously you two I had already known, but there were people I had never met before, never even really interacted with all that much outside of just seeing them in passing on Twitter. So, having opportunities to sit down with those people and have one-on-one conversations and just learn about every single team for, in that division for a week has been awesome for me. So definitely check that out. As we roll into August, we'll be 2 shows a week. And then once we get to September, 4 times a week, we'll be covering waivers, Thursday Night Football. We literally run through every game, the spreads, the totals. So if you're into sports betting, you're into fantasy, obviously, or you just want to know what might happen in the game, definitely check us out. You can search FFDX in the search bar and we'll pop up on most podcast platforms. And then for all my Jets fans out there, man, make sure you check out the Now We Have Liftoff New York Jets podcast hosted by me and my boy, Frank Jim Piccolo. We just 2 lifelong Jets fans that we're hoping times are changing right now. Hence, Now We Have Liftoff, and hopefully we get the liftoff into competency. So definitely check that out if you're a Jets fan. Right now, 2 shows, 1 show every 2 weeks, but in season, 1 show a week.
And the one thing I've said multiple times about being a guest on your show is it feels like I'm just talking to a buddy about football, and it's always a good discussion. There's always some good stats and opinions on there, but it just feels like a comfortable show, and I think people buy into that more than someone who. And I have all my notes here from like Thursday, but it's for somebody who's scripted and like robotic. I think it's just a good show because again, you're getting good information, and it's just like very genuine, which I respect a lot.
Appreciate that, man. I mean, look, man, you guys have been, I mean, I remember kind of getting started on Twitter and being in the same share group as you guys, and just seeing the content you guys put out and how you guys, just kind of carry yourself. And, it sets a wonderful example. And, it's definitely the results speak for themselves. Just looking how far the both of you guys have come in that time, man. And so I'm honored and proud to call you guys my friends, man. So I genuinely appreciate everything you guys have done for me to this point, man.
I feel the same way. And I think that you're doing great. I mean, the stuff that you're being able to put out, that many shows a week, you're crazy, man. But I think that's legit. I mean, that's what you got to do to get your name out there. So I'm glad that you could come on and plug you. Because like I said yesterday, you are the most underrated person in the space. I don't care what anybody says. You do well. Like Nick said, you host an amazing show. It's hard to host, and we all know that because we all host different shows. But you have that ability to kind of make us feel like we're welcomed, and that's something that everybody should like and everybody should take away from you. And that's why you're going to go far. So definitely check out John's show. I mean, it's legit, and I try to check out as much as I can. I think I have like 75 podcasts in my podcast app, but I do try to check it out when I can, and I'm doing that. So we appreciate you coming on, John.
Nah, man, definitely appreciate you guys having me, man. Definitely. And enjoy the weekend, everybody.
Nice talking to you, John. Talk to you later, man.
Always, fellas. Later.
All right. And I got a cool comment I'm gonna throw on the screen. My buddy Colin. I like to play to win with the boys. Damn, that could have been a show in itself right there. Well, we'll have to think about that one.
Giving us some ideas, Shotgun. I appreciate you.
I know, yeah. It's my buddy Colin from back home here. All right, so let's get our next guest on the show. Been patiently waiting in the back. We got Brandon. So, Brandon, thank you for joining us, man. What's up?
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, let everybody know. So, of course, where we can find you, a little bit about yourself, and what do you got going on, man?
Sure. Yeah. On Twitter, you can find me at HeyB3, and I write for a few different sites. The League Winners, I do Devy content on there. I do stories at IDP Guys, offensive type fantasy stuff, and at the Everyday Fan, more general, redraft stuff. And I just started with the Fantasy Authority, doing some videos for them, trying to get into the video, get more comfortable with that. Yeah, so I live in Jacksonville. I'm a Jads and a Browns fan, so I've been through the ringer, with those two teams. And as Kevin knows, I'm a Michigan fan, so sports fandom hasn't been nice to me the past 20 years. So
at least you've been true to it, though. It's not like you're a Chiefs fan and a LA Lakers fan and anything like that. You're staying true to your stuff over there. So don't listen to Kevin if he gives you some crap about it.
Yeah, no, at least you're not a Notre Dame fan. That's key there. But, I definitely, Brandon is an incredible writer too. Like one thing about him, you need to check out his writings and his articles that he puts out, because I wish I could write half as good as Brandon does. He definitely does a great job there. There was a piece that you recently wrote, and I read it, but I'm old now, Brandon. I can't remember. And you compared I think it was the wide receiver, Treylon Burks. It was a Devy piece, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Treylon Burks and David Bell. That was the first one. I've kind of I'm about to put out another one for Devy, just doing some comparisons, looking at the film part, the analytics, kind of matching all that together, and just giving everyone, that doesn't follow college or Devy as much, just a little more insight, on those players and how they stack up against each other.
Yeah, no, you do a good job with that. And it's hard to kind of incorporate both. Like, you're a great writer in terms of like, you kind of have a narrative and you use analytics and you use kind of film-based approach. Like, I'm impressed by that. And definitely if you're listening or if you see this, find his articles. Because even if you don't like Devy or even whatever, the writing's good. And I think that separates you. So, you keep that up because it's impressive.
I really appreciate that, because when we started writing back in February, and I never think, it's anything special, but
hey, anybody that writes is special. Writing sucks, Brandon. Like, let's all be real here. Writing articles is tough.
And it's even tougher too sometimes because like you'll get a ton of reads on one and then you'll put in the same effort on another one and get like half of that or a quarter of that sometimes. So it's kind of frustrating at times. I like the fact in the beginning you said you're starting to get into some video stuff too. Maybe something a little bit different. And I think that's something a lot of people who make content should be encouraged to do, is just put in some reps and get out of your comfort zone. Not saying you're uncomfortable, just in general, something you don't do as often. So that's nice to hear that. And I think just like anything for me personally, when I was on front of the camera at first, I was saying every single sentence, and I was a little bit more robotic than I am now. So that's awesome. You're going to start getting into that.
Yeah, the first time I was on air was with Kevin, and I was super nervous and everything. I think I've gotten a lot better. Done a couple pods, I've done a couple videos, and actually something in the works in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be starting a pod myself, with a buddy I've met on Twitter. So that's in the works, so that'll be coming out soon.
Very cool. Something else to look forward to. Brandon, thank you so much, brother, for coming on the show. It was nice to meet you face to face, virtually here, but really appreciate you coming on and plugging what you got going on. You got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and have enough platform to get people out there. Thanks.
Absolutely. All right. Talk to you later, man.
See you, Brandon.
All right. So our next guest, he's been chilling in the background for a while. So I'm excited to bring him back on. He's been a good sport, just hanging out in the back, listening to everybody who's been on. So I think that's been awesome of him. So please introduce yourself, where we can find you, and what you got going on. And here we are.
Hey guys, hola, ¿cómo estamos? How we doing, boys?
Doing good.
Very good, very good. Happy to have you on, man.
Oh, thank you. First off, I just want to tell you, it was fun being backstage because I loved hearing about everybody else's work, and it was really awesome. Thanks again for having me. I'm Jorge Martin, and I'm the host and founder of the Familia FFP podcast, which we call kind of like fantasy football with a little sabor Latino. We're trying to be a little bit different because of the fact that this actually started out with a family argument, if you can imagine, and it was over fantasy football. And it was at Christmas, so it was heated. Full disclosure, I'm a part of a big Mexican family. My mom is one of 12 kids. My generation is 40 kids. My kids, their generation is pushing 50. So you can imagine what Christmas is like. We almost have to rent out. Yeah, we almost have to rent out a convention room, but thankfully we've been able to do it in people's. Oh, believe me, I think 2019 Christmas was. I think we had about 125 people there, and unfortunately 2020, a little different story. But we can't wait for everything. But what happened was we have an ultra competitive fantasy football league that's made up completely of familia, our family members, and 12-team league. And as you can imagine, Christmas time, it's playoffs, everything's heated. And this conversation was happening. It was multiple people who were both in and out of the playoffs, but it was well thought out. It was fueled a little bit by beer and definitely some tamales, and but also a lot of facts. And I sat back and I just thought, this could be interesting if we put microphones on this, maybe put it in front of a camera. And a couple of my primos, cousins in Spanish, I went to them and I said, guys, what do you think of doing this? And, we've all, the three of us have all been very close. We're very different in age. I'm the oldest. My youngest cousin, Ricky, is 20 years younger than me. And my other cousin, Hector, he's 5 years younger than me. He's actually more like a younger brother to me. He's only a couple months difference between him and my brother. And, we launched on Cinco de Mayo, 2020. So nice. We positioned it intentionally because it was right after the NFL draft. So we broke down the position groups, kind of where players were drafted and everything, and then just kind of went from there. And it's a podcast with, as I said, Sabor Latino. It's an English podcast, but we actually also do a lot. We throw a lot of Spanglish. We throw a lot of references to our big Mexican family. We put, when you got comedians like George Lopez, Cristela Alonso, Gabriel Iglesias, who really they've made their lives on being able to kind of identify with people who are fellow Latinos, but also kind of showing a snapshot of Latino life, just the fun part. And we get into arguments. We get into well thought out discussions. But at the end of the day, no matter how much we call each other loco or whatever, it's all love at the end of the day. My cousin Ricky is the one who's actually really likes to start the fight. So that shout out to at Ricky Torres TV. But and I come from a media background. I started out as a sports writer with the LA Daily News. More recently, I was a publications director for the LA Dodgers. By the way, I heard that quip about being a front runner Laker fan. I've been a Laker fan since before Magic Johnson started with them.
All right, then you're true.
All the way through. I mean, we did have Kareem at the time, but Magic's my all-time favorite athlete. But so as I said, I've got the media background, heavy writing background. We launched a website, familiaffb.com, where I post articles on there. A couple of times, my primo Hector, he drops a couple of things here and there during the season about, sports betting. We concentrate on redraft, a lot of DFS during the season. We adopted one of my other primos, Nico. As I said, we're huge, but we still adopted a friend, Greg, who is a major DFS player, and he was kind of like our Yoda for DFS last season. And the three of us got by about midway point of the season, he would come on a Friday show, and we would just basically like have beers, margaritas, whatever, and just talk DFS for like an hour. We did that all the way through the Super Bowl, and just had a blast. Awesome. So we'll be starting that back up. But yeah, we concentrate on those two. Really, trying to find the commonalities. Maybe we just finished a series of underrated, overrated. We called it Alto y Bajo. As I said, we've got a little throw Spanish.
Like
our start sit my start sit column is called Adentro y Afuera, in and out. So as I said, just throw in it's a little bit further than like Dan Patrick saying "en fuego" or rich guys and that kind of thing. Everybody's going to be able to understand it. But but that was the thing. There's 30 million Latinos who followed the NFL just in the United States, and there's probably about 10 million in Mexico, South America, and Europe, who all consume, with about 80% of them consuming their content, their NFL content, in English. So it's just, it's been a blast. We launched our YouTube channel a couple months ago, so we're on YouTube. As you can see my Twitter handle right there, at Jorge Martin 17. I pump out all our content. The big thing right now that I'm in the middle of, as I said, I've got the media background. So I've started a beat writer early in June. I started a beat writer series where plan is to hit all 32 teams. Started it right around minicamp. And I think I'm about a third of the way through the NFL right now. In fact, just before this, I put out on Twitter our Kansas City Chiefs. We sat down with Joshua Briscoe of Arrowhead Report and Sports Illustrated. He was fantastic. And actually the thing to kind of make this a little bit different, as I said, Sabor Latino, I always ask people their favorite tacos. And he actually, being from Kansas City, barbecue is legendary in Kansas City. I had to ask him, have you ever done Kansas City barbecue on tacos? Well, I'm going to tease it for everybody. You got to listen. And plus, there's a legendary Travis Kelce story in there that involves karaoke and stage jumping right after foot surgery. So again, but we had had a lot of other great writers. Mary Kay Cabot from the Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. She was on to talk the Browns earlier this week, and also had Gilbert Manzano and Fernando Ramirez covering the Chargers, Vinny Bonsignore of the Raiders, just getting a great mix. And it's been wonderful. All those episodes are great because they're all about 30 minutes long. So
people tuned into that.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of fun, guys. And again, we love to talk food. We are LA based, so we do lean a little bit on NFC and AFC West teams, but we definitely hit the whole league. But I know we got a lot of people coming on, but guys, I want you guys to tell me. Can you tell me your favorite tacos? Your favorite taco fillings?
Taco fillings.
Taco meats. What do you love?
You know what I like in my tacos. And I'll get like beef or carne asada, something like that. But I like potatoes. I like potatoes in my tacos. I don't know why.
Papas.
There you go. I love that, and it's like if I can get that somewhere, I'm getting it 100%. And I mean cilantro, all the other stuff that's fine, but potatoes on there, absolutely. I don't know about Kevin.
Can I give you a quick recommendation?
Sure.
Have you had chorizo?
Yes. And eggs.
Chorizo with potatoes. Yeah. If you want to do it yourself, it's really good. If you grill it up and get some seasoned potatoes in there, some onion and the carne asada. The chorizo, it's phenomenal. Oh, phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm with you, Jimmo. I'm just simple. Give me carne asada, a little cilantro, onions, and I'm good to go. That's about it for me. A little lime, maybe a little lemon, depends. But that's it for me. But hey, we really appreciate you coming on and plugging your stuff. I know you've been around a little bit, and I've seen what you've been doing, and you're really growing. So, we really, really appreciate you coming on, kind of plugging yourself. And I like what you're doing. I like your little, your flair, your different stuff that you're doing with your family, because that's why we're here, and really talk to friends about sports and families even better. And if I could, I get my wife on here, but she doesn't like sports, so we can't do that.
Yeah, I like those two aspects a lot. The family competition, like Kevin knows my brother. We compete like crazy and talk about fantasy all the time. I barely like the guy, but I think that's very relatable to people. But your family is huge, so the fact that you have so many people involved in being a part of this and also just competing in leagues, that's awesome. And also just the culture aspect of mixing fantasy football and culture, I think is very different. And I think that, like you said, there's plenty of Hispanic and Latino people that play fantasy football and they like football. So the fact that they can listen to your show or read articles and relate to it, I think that's huge. And I think it's something that not a lot of people are doing right now. So I give you a lot of credit for both of those things.
Oh, well, gracias, guys. I appreciate it. And, one of the things that we also close every show by telling everybody, todos somos familia. We are family, because we are just all one family. And it's just, I know our family feels like we are everybody, but really, yeah, we are family. So can't thank you enough. Gracias so much. And also, salud, guys.
All right. Have a good day, man. 4th. Appreciate you coming on.
Yep. Happy 4th.
All right. So we'll get to our next guest here. He's been hanging out in the background as well. He's got the mic. I can see him right here. He's smiling at the camera. Let's get him on. What's up, man? What's up, Santiago?
Hey, guys. What up? What's going on?
Hey, appreciate you coming on, dude. I know you and Kevin, I'm pretty sure you guys talk pretty often, but can you tell everybody, again, where to find you, what you got going on, a little bit about yourself, and before any of that, just want to thank you for hopping in here.
Thank you for having me. It's just a great project you guys have, and you can find me. You can see my tag on the screen. It's Brodo FF Casanova, and part of the Brodo Fantasy. That's our main account. We do articles, podcasts. We have an app, so if you're interested in that, it's Fantasy Football by Brodo in all the app stores you can imagine. That's kind of like our hub. You can find all the articles, all the podcasts there. It's everything.
I think one thing that has been impressing me about you, Santiago, I think we went on early. I think you were one of my first guests on any kind of thing I ever did. So I'm sorry about how bad I was when I first started.
He's still mad about that. He's still mad about that. I heard him talk about it on another show.
Yeah, I'm pretty trash, but I would say, your rise has been really good. Analytically, like, you're one of my go-to guys. You know that. I'll hit you up in the DMs when I need, like, hey, what do you see here? How have you progressed and used that app? Because I know the app's really important to you guys right now. Like, that was a big accomplishment for you guys. How has that developed, and how can people use it?
I mean, we try to make the app so you can have as many tools as you could possibly need for fantasy. So we have just, your basic stats like rushing, receiving, basic. Then we have more advanced stuff like my model for rushing yards over expected. And then we have comps. We have an algorithm that calculates player comps or using their college stats, their measurables, their rookie stats even. So you can get like kind of a feel for newer players that don't know how to draft rookies. For example, I used it a lot. I'm not big into college football. So for my rookie drafts, I use the app, the comp tool a lot. We also have, what is it? The points histogram. So you can check out a player's points history. You can select the weeks, the player, and it gives you a whole plot of how they've done. So it's all the things you can need to make informed decisions regarding fantasy. You know.
I like that because I think some of the data you're working with and what you offer really can help people who kind of struggle to make rankings or separate players or figure out why they want to target player A versus player B. And it's easy to say, oh, well, he ran more yards last year, or this guy catches the ball more. But I think having these separating factors is awesome because it really helps, especially people who make the rankings and get after stuff like that. So that is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. The whole idea just came up as when I was just gathering stats to make my own rankings. I said, like, I cannot find this anywhere else. We might as well put it out there for other people, you know. So that's how the idea came to be. Just me and my team trying to make rankings and find the right stats for it.
You know, I think that was important. I mean, I'm still upset about your Jalen Waddle comp. We're going to have some talks about that one because that's going to be an ongoing. We're going to see who's right. But I think it was good. And I love, you know, the B-Roto guys and everything. Like, you guys are just good people. I think that's one thing. Tim, everybody over there, like, have always been really good to me. And I really appreciate everybody over there. Yeah, with J. Cole, we got, you know, Scott Fishbowl coming up. But other than that, do you have anything else that you kind of want to get out there, or any work maybe coming down the pipe or you're excited about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have a surprise tool coming next week to the app, so be on the lookout for that. And also, we're hiring for our writing team. We have paid and unpaid positions both. So if anyone wants to write for a fantasy site, we can give you a platform. Just send us over a DM, either my account or the Broto Fantasy account, and your articles is going to be on the webpage, on the app, everywhere. So we're looking to expand. This is our expansion off season. You know, we got the app, we're expanding the team, we're going all out now.
That is awesome, and I think people should take advantage of it. I mean, there's a lot of people who continuously, I see all the time, like, I'm looking for a place to write, I'm looking for a place to contribute, but then people will put something like that out there, and you guys have a lot going on, and people have to jump on it because I think it's a great opportunity, especially with what you guys have going on, which is, again, different than the average site. So
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're hoping to find some really good talents and bring the Broto Fantasy team to the next level.
Absolutely. Well, my man, thank you very much for coming on the show. I think people definitely have to check out what you're doing and everything you have offering right now because, again, very different. And yeah, thanks for popping in here, man.
Thank you, man. I had a great time. This is a great thing you're doing.
All right. We'll catch you later then.
See you, Jacob.
All right. So there we go. Missing again. So we had one guy. I'm not sure if he's popping back in. So we're going to go right to this other guy. I'm not sure if Kevin or I have ever talked to this guy in person before, but might as well bring him on the podcast and get to know him. A guy in all seriousness we've probably both known since we got in the space. So let's talk to our boy Detroit Beastie, Chris Robin. What's up, Chris?
Getting the band back together, at least for 5 or 10 minutes here, boys. Thank you.
Hey. It's been a long time coming here. I mean, I feel like we were doing this pretty often back in the day. Yeah. And then, I mean, everybody gets busy with their stuff, but I think we've all kept in touch enough to consider all of us friends. So, Chris, thanks for coming on the show, man. Remind people where they can find you, who you are, what you got going on, because you are a busy guy, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Chris, aka at Detroit Beastie. And this time last year, even 6 months ago, you do what's comfortable, right? You work together, you work the kinks out together, and then we spread our wings. And it's always nice to kind of come back home in a way every once in a while when all is said and done. So I appreciate that. And to be fair with you, I'm not really working on much. I find June and July to be kind of like a downtime, right? I think that the layout here or the timeline of writing and broadcasting is just as important as the content here. We need to, take a step back, disconnect for a day or two or unplug here. So I don't really want to plug myself. I just want to mention, Special Olympics real quick, if I may. COVID and everything, and the lockdown wasn't kind to a lot of people, from start to finish, health, monetarily, but thank God, God willing, you know, Special Olympics is back and running now with softball, and hopefully we get a full basketball season, floor hockey. And when you look at it, you know, a lot of these leagues, especially, you know, in my neck of the woods in Detroit, that it's all areas, you know, it's broken down to areas. In area 33 and in the 30s right here, St. Clair Shores, Detroit, Macomb Township, a lot of these teams that they have old jerseys, or they don't have much equipment, right? And again, as I said, it wasn't kind. And area to area, you know, the coaching staff or the parents are able to kind of give money to the team or the area or the organization to get jerseys, to get bats, to get cleats, basketballs, things like that. So I'm just asking if anybody has the time or a couple bucks, just shoot it to the Special Olympics, because that money, as it stands right now, is going for player jerseys and new shoes. And you should see the look on these kids' faces. We've been locked down for a year, so workshops and all that stuff has been closed. So, you know, when I coach the softball, these kids really don't care about the actual game and competing. They just love chatting with your friends. You know, the batter comes up to the plate and he just goes right to the mound, gives the pitcher a hug. I haven't seen you in 6 months and everything. So the money that you donate would go to special things like that. Now, we all love a fresh, Nick, we all know you love a fresh jersey. So can you imagine?
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, so can you imagine what it's like for these kids having not played organized sports in a year and a half or 2 years? They get a fresh jersey or a batting helmet, as I said, cleats, you know, from start to finish. So that's what I wanted to plug. And, you know, in the day and age of it's the time for the Scott Fish Bowl, you know, and all the money that's donated there to all the causes, Fantasy Cares, right? Toys for Tots here. So I'm saying if anybody can just show a little bit of love to the Special Olympics, that'd be outstanding.
And I think during this time, you know, with Scott Fishbowl and during downtime, people are looking to contribute to things, but I think not enough people know like what to contribute to. So I think kind of understanding, hey, you know, I want to contribute, I want to donate, but I don't know where. You know, you have these big name organizations, but I think something like the Special Olympics is not something talked about enough as an avenue that, hey, these kids really need stuff. You know, it's easy to all donate to the same spot, but hey, why not be different and help out a kid? And I also
100%.
wanted to make a note about what you said. It's awesome that this is back going, because so many people complained about not being able to do sports or go to the gym. You know, their kids couldn't play t-ball, or they couldn't play in a men's or women's league. And I think a lot of us forgot how important Special Olympics are, not just to the players, but everybody who helps out and their families, everything. So Special Olympics is very important to a lot of people. So I think the fact that it's back and running after such a crazy COVID year is awesome. So I respect you doing that.
100%. I appreciate you, you know, giving me a moment to speak about that. And we say it behind closed doors or in text messages, and I'll say it one more time. If ever guys need something, or you're in a pinch for a broadcast and someone isn't around, you know, you can count on me. I need a 5-10 minutes heads up, and that will always stand until the day this all goes away. So thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely, Chris.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
man.
you coming on, man. All right. So I think we were supposed to have one more guy, and I lost my template, so we're chilling half on here. All right. I sent the DM to David Mendy. I don't know if he's coming on or not. Also, there was another guy in the group. Don't think he's showing up as well. So just quick reflection. The one thing that stands out to me for everybody that came on is like everybody brought something different to the table. Yeah. And I think that just kind of speaks to what the community is, because at the end of the day, like, hey, we all do fantasy football stuff, but like, what do you do? And I think everybody that came on offered something different, and I think that was awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the things I talked with Sam Wallace about recently on a pod about like the industry itself, like that the future of fantasy content is going to be so different. Like there's so many different things you can do. You can write, you can do YouTube videos, which I've kind of transitioned more to video just because I'm more comfortable with that. Like you talked about being comfortable taking reps and those type of things. Like there's so many things you can do out there that I don't like when people say the market's saturated. Like, only there's a lot of people, but if you bring something new and better and ability to kind of speak or podcast, like, or just do what you want to do though, right? Like we have podcasts, me and Jacob started one, you have one with Steffi, you have your own, like we doing things that we like to do and we can bring it forward. And even if it's 100 people that download it, that's still 100 people that downloaded it. Like, that's still pretty good for some random dude in a garage or spare bedroom or whatever. Like, that's what we're trying to do here. Just have fun and bring forth. There's a lot of good people in this space and I think there's a couple bad people that make it really bad, but I think we focus too much on those. Like the dudes that we just had on, everybody on there is great. Like everyone. Yep. And they're good people and they care and they really work hard and they're just good people in general. Like, let's focus on that, not the crap that comes up every once in a while.
And I completely agree with that. And I think that, drama is always interesting, right? And you always hear like you don't remember 5 good things, but you always remember like the one bad thing. And I think that is a great point that you bring up because, again, there's a lot of good things that happen. There's a lot of collaboration. There's people that share personal things. There's people that put themselves out there. And I think we got to do a better job sometimes to just like bringing others up. And I know some people will put their speeches out there and say things, but like, you got to do it, right? You have to do it. I put out a tweet earlier and like, I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker at all. Like, I'm not trying to like be that guy on a weekly basis. I'm not trying to put out like a quote from some guy to motivate people. Like, I'm not doing that because it's just not like me. I'm positive and stuff, but I don't need to be a motivational speaker. But I put out that thing about like treat the janitor like you do the CEO, and we have to be more about that. And I completely think that that's a fact in the space because I think the more we interact with whoever, no matter what their following is, and the more we bring people onto our shows and hop on other people's shows and collaborate in articles, I think it just makes you a better person and a better content creator in general. So I think there needs to be more of that instead of just focusing on, hey, how do I get the edge here? And how do I get more followers? And how do I get ahead of Johnny and Susie and Mark, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we started pretty relatively around the same time, and we've all had our different kind of how we've gone about things. And I will just say, like, I still remember how I was treated by certain accounts that have a lot of followers when I didn't have that many followers. Like, I still remember who kind of like quote tweeted me or said those things, and I probably, I could probably squash it, and I could, but that still sticks with me. Like, even though like I don't really deal with it. Like, I'm like, man, they didn't treat me very good when I had 5 followers, but now they're actually talking to me. That's weird. Why is that? Like, so I'm very cognitively aware of how I treat everybody. I try to treat everybody the same, no matter what. If you DM me, if you have 10 followers, I don't care. I try to get people in the Scott Fishbowl that had like, I think 2 followers and which we were able to do. Like, there are things that I'm trying to do for people. If you follow me, I don't care what that is. And just be cognitively aware of how you talk to people. Because one interaction can change your life for the good, but also can change your life for the bad. And we've seen that happen to too many people. So just be careful how you interact and just be you. Just be who you are. Like, and that's who I am. And I'm definitely not perfect. I'm a Cowboys fan. But, we have these things where it's just like, hey, just be cognitively aware of how you treat people.
And I think you also, just building off of that, I think you also have to think like you don't know what an interaction means to somebody else. Like if 7 people comment on my post that I make or my video that I make and, I just kind of blow them off or, I have a nice conversation. I say, hey, appreciate the comment, like this and that. You don't know what it means to somebody. And you said, you made the note about people that you've reached out to in the past that kind of blew you off or, maybe didn't want to interact with you the right way. But I, on the flip side as well, because I also agree with that on the flip side, I will always remember the people that like came on my show when I had 0 microphone and I literally was in my garage and it sounded like shit. And I'll remember those people that like were way bigger and maybe we're like around the same following now, which doesn't matter. But I'm saying we're way bigger ones, but gave me the time of day because it meant a lot to me. So literally, like I've been trying more often to like link up with some people or just have better conversations instead of just liking tweets because again, like you don't know what your interaction means to somebody else, even if it means like something small to you. So I think that's something we need to all kind of keep in mind more.
Yeah. And to that point, and just real quick, because I know maybe we're waiting, maybe we're not. Mindy's always late. But I would say that I heard something on a Clubhouse. Now Clubhouse is dead, RIP Clubhouse. But I did hear something on Clubhouse I didn't agree with. So somebody that has a pretty big following said, my time is valuable, so I don't go on other people's podcasts because that's an hour of my time that I could waste making money or getting my stuff up. I don't agree with that, and it's just probably who I am as a person. Like, I will go on any podcast because when I had 100 followers, I had Bob inviting me on, you inviting me on. Like, we were trying to build each other up and get our reps. Like, I don't care how many followers the podcast has. I don't care if I got to do it on Zoom, Google Meets, whatever. Like, I will help out no matter what I can because I'm just some random guy that talks to you. Like, I will do that because, yeah, maybe my 45 minutes is valuable, but what if that helps out that podcast to get a few more followers or a little bit more subscribers? Like, that's okay to me. And that's just all about building people up in this space. But I know everybody's not like that, but I disagree. Like, our job is to kind of build each other up and help each other.
Absolutely. And I think, again, I've said something like that before. Like, I think that's why you and I have related and became friends so much, because I feel like our mentality is the same for things. And literally, you look at this today, we took probably 40 minutes, whatever the case was, before we went on our spiel here, but we took 40 minutes out of our time. And there was literally, besides meeting, the benefit for us, I would say, was meeting some people we probably didn't talk to in person. For me, like, I haven't talked to most of those people besides like our buddies in person. So that's my benefit. But it's not like, hey, I'm doing this because I know that I'm going to get like patted on the back or like I'm going to get some more followers from it. Like, we're not doing it for literally anything outside of the sake of like, hey, like, let's open up a platform. Let's meet some new people. And I feel like doing things genuinely like that makes you more relatable. And it also like gives you a little bit of credibility at times, because like you said, you've seen the people that will blow off everybody else or like be so focused centrally on yourselves. And again, like I said earlier, both you and I, we do our own work and we put our own work out there and we put our thoughts and we want people to consume it. But at the same time, like, man, if you don't have the time to be able to link up with some other people or at least respect some other people, I think you have to kind of change your mentality and do some reflecting. But it was great having all these people on.
It was good. I'm glad that we were able to do this, and hopefully, we're going to try to make this a thing. I don't know how much we can do every week because we're pretty busy guys, but definitely, try to get on here for other accounts. So if you've watched this and you definitely want to get on there, be on the lookout, or just send us a DM. And we'll get you on the list, and we'll say, hey, whenever we have time, we'll try to pop on and do this again, and especially before football season comes, because I know we're starting to get new creators coming out, and I did write an article about that, like some things that I would take away at Triple Play Fantasy. That might be a good thing to look at for the newer people that are trying to get in this space. But if you anytime you want to DM me and ask me for like what not to do, I definitely have those stories. I can help you out all there. But just be on the lookout, because we're definitely going to do this again, because this is what me and Nick like to do. But like you said, we all do our own stuff. But it's funny, like, I can do as much videos and content and stuff that I do, but I still don't know. I still know what my friends are doing and people are doing, and I try to put them up as best I can.
Absolutely. And I agree with Kevin. My DMs are open too. If we both have busy lives, like we both got families and jobs and everything like that. It's not all just focused on fantasy, but I promise, like, both of us will get back to you and we'll give you whatever advice you're looking for. And we're not experts, but we're people that will talk, and have a conversation with you. So yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that though. I like the idea. Let's do this whenever is possible for the both of us, and we'll get more people on. So again, if you are watching this later or live right now, we'll do this again, maybe in the near future. Kevin and I will host, and literally we'll just set the stage and you guys talk about yourselves. And I know after this show, I think Kevin's got a plan, but we'll do something here and make sure that this show gets back on Twitter even after this live stream. So Kevin, anything coming up this week for you before we close things out?
Yeah, I'm going on vacation, so I'm taking a much needed vacation next Wednesday to the Monday. My daughter's turning 4, so we're going to San Diego and going to the beach, Padres, like hanging out. So I'm taking a little time away, kind of refocus my brain. I've been grinding pretty hard, and so it's time to take a little time away and just be with my family. But and you got a big birthday party tomorrow, so we got family time coming.
Yeah, big time. Got a first birthday party. It's Trolls themed. I have my Trolls tank top, and I got some like big visor shades, and I'll be probably sipping on Millers all day and celebrating with our daughters. So I'm excited for that. Next week coming up, probably some random things throughout the week. Still got the show with Steffi on Thursday. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. There's been a decent amount of live viewers, so I really like that. And shout out to everybody who came on today and talked about themselves, because again, they took advantage of marketing themselves, and I appreciate that. So we'll close things out here. But Kevin, thanks for your time, brother.
Yep.
Talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.